Hi class, welcome to week 7. So this is the 7th inning stretch. And like I say in the intro, no panicking and no getting overwhelmed. We're all going to make it to the finish line, I promise. And I have a couple of things to say about that in terms of the final report, which will count as your final, but I will discuss that in another video. Right now, what I want to focus on is your campaign. So I've been going over them on the wiki. You don't have to respond to me on the wiki. This is just so, and the point of using this wiki is that you can go in and edit it and add things and without being on the discussion board. So just to make things a little confusing, I have to change up the photo contest. But again, I'll get to that in a minute. I want you guys to know I created this space here on our main course menu. This is the campaign wiki where you can get into. This is going to be for the photo contest that you're creating, and I will explain that in a second video. And then here are just the resources that are spread throughout week 6 to 8. And I have to apologize because I realized that I did not put, I actually added a few resources to this morning, but I actually didn't give you guys these extra resources beyond my notes and the link to the Sprout Social. So anyway, it doesn't really matter that much because most people don't nail the goals and KPIs right away, because it's really kind of a shift in thinking. Let's look at though. So the top goals for marketers, right? They want to increase their brand awareness. They want to generate sales leads. Obviously, you want to convert. You want to increase your community engagement. You want to grow your brand's audience on social media. Grow your followers, and you want to just increase your web traffic. And that could be for engagement. For conversion. To enter a contest. It could be for, to download something. It could be to, sign up for a newsletter. Anytime that anybody can get you onto their website and convert you, especially getting that great email of yours, that's what they want to do, because that can then lead to sales. Okay, so these are really the goals that we all, pretty much are the goals that most social marketers are going to have. So the way that, let me just show you this next. So there's different ways to articulate what your goals are and aligning them with your KPIs. What most of you guys did on the wiki was not quite, you haven't drilled down yet to the goals and the specific metrics. And again, that's fine. This is a process and it takes time. What a lot of you are doing is you're articulating your strategy. Okay, so it's like post this many times on Instagram, this many days. That's not a goal. Okay, that is a tactic. Or you could say, our strategy is to increase our posting. That's not a goal, right? Your goal is to have something good come out of whatever it is you're doing, right? Have certain people, so entering a contest, so the contest, increasing engagement with your audience, and the strategy is a user-generated content, maybe a photo contest or a video contest or something like that. Or polls, or maybe increasing your video views and that kind of thing. So that is the strategy. The metric is, well, how many people watch the video, right? How many people enter the contest? Those are the specific measurable metrics. Okay, so here, like, your overall goal might be to increase. We're not necessarily we're not breaking into goals, objectives, and metrics. We're just going goals and metrics. But your overall goal could be to increase your brand awareness, and that's always a goal. And that's kind of like, built into every campaign. But then the specific objectives would be, so I would just call these really specific goals: to grow your Facebook community by 100%. So obviously you're pretty much starting with a very small community if it's 100%. Increase your engagement by 50%. So you're going to see the number of new fans, number of new likes for you, like on Facebook. Increase your shareability, and that's going to be like hashtags, brand mentions. But one of the things that we can look at here and see really clearly is that in order to know how you're measuring, whether or not you're measuring up in your metrics after your campaign is you have to know where you start. So benchmarking is super important. And that's where, you really can say, okay, like 100%. So let's just say we only have 5,000 followers. We want to get to 10,000. That actually could be a pretty reasonable goal if you have the right campaign in place. That's obviously, again, if you've got a really low following, that's obviously not going to work for, a really big brand already. But you have to really know where you start, right? And you have to have your benchmarks in place. So that's really the first thing that you want to do. But for us, here's the way we want to, this is what I want you to get from what you've already started on the wiki. I want you to get from the goals and you are articulating the goals. They're in there. It's just that they're in there and they've got strategy and tactics, and that's fine because you can use that for your overview and your strategy discussion, right? So it's not like it's wasted. It's so we need to pair it off. Like if you look at, I think it was Terry just really drills down. She's like, increase the engagement. Look at the likes. She really has that. She's got it really drilled down, and usually it takes a lot for us to get there. And so again, most of you have the goal and you have the KPI, but what we want to do is we want to unearth it and just make it really standalone and clear. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do in week 8, you can either do this directly on the wiki by creating the table, or you can dress up the table any way you want, it's fine, or you can you can actually put it in your campaign and just put a link there for me to see. But what I want you to do is have a table where you've got goals on this side, and I would actually make that font bigger for the goals, and the metrics. I would actually just make that bigger. Okay, but so this, and the other reason why it's really helpful to do this is it can actually show you what a weakness might be in your campaign before you even send it up the chain for approval. And one of the things here, like looks like a pretty good campaign, okay? And it was. The student who created this for Glossier, and it was about using International Women's Day, which is March 8th, to generate, awareness for the brand, right? So she has the increase awareness of the brand, and that's going to be, you track your brand mentions, you're going to have your, your hashtag, your follower counts. I mean, these are the general things that are going to tell you, have we really increased our brand awareness, right? And then we can start to get into specifics, for the campaign, increase fan user social media engagement by 20%. So in other words, we have a benchmark. We know what it was for a similar campaign, say the year before, or another campaign, and we want to really try to increase, the engagement. And so, and we'll, maybe you realize, oh, maybe we need to post more, or we need to have videos, right? You're not going to have that here in the goals. That's going to be a strategy that you'll articulate under your strategy. So the generating awareness for Women's Day, and it would be actually on March 8th. And then we get into situations like if you are having, let's say for like Ben & Jerry's is a really good example, how they have on their blog, they have all of that really good content for social justice and Black Lives Matter, right? So for them, if they're sharing this content, if they're promoting it on their social channels, and then people are clicking through, it's those numbers of clicks. And then they're clicking through to the blog, and then it's the time that they're spending on the site reading or converting. Like let's say they want you to sign a petition or do a poll, which they do have on those. Ben & Jerry's has on their blog. So that would be an actual conversion. But we look at time on site. So you get somebody there, and then do they read one article? Do they read 2? Or do they bounce right away? Meaning, oh, they don't want to have anything to do with this content, right? So you don't have to get that specific, but if you want to drive traffic to your website to engage people in longer form content, then time on site, your backlinks. So in other words, how many, you can measure all the links that go from Instagram to your blog or Instagram to the story section of your website, okay? But here, if she had increased sales by 10%, I'm like, well, you're just hoping that when people go to the website, they're going to just happen to shop and buy. And yes, that can happen. But one of the things that came out of this when she showed me the campaign was I said, it would be better to have somebody do something to actually convert. So like to sign a petition for something about women's rights on, on your website, sign it there, promote it on, promote it on social media. And that way you're getting, like, you can drill down into more specific numbers. All right. I wanted to also show you in week 6, in this one here. Oh, this one. This is a really helpful article. It's a blog post by HubSpot. You do not have to, or Hootsuite, you don't have to do this. But what they're showing is really what you're talking about when you're saying, oh, we want to increase our engagement, and we want to have, we want to really increase our reach. What you're saying is you want more people to see your content, right? And you do that by growing followers, by getting people to share. And so this really is a really good drill down post here, which will show you, how do you really calculate this, your post reach? Like when I go onto my Twitter and I want to see, like yesterday I was all excited. I had like 30 retweets of something I said, and I was very excited. And I looked at the impressions, and it was like a couple thousand, which is cool. It doesn't mean they saw it, but it means it had the potential to see it. So, I'm not saying that you have to look at impressions or anything, and you do not have to drill down to this level at all. But it's really helpful to understand, like, what is your applause rate? What is your share of social voice? What's your average engagement rate? So this is a pretty handy article. And then at the end, it has all the little formulas that you can have. And I think that this is a really good idea to do this when you're really working for campaigns, in real life. But for your campaign, this is enough. This is simple. You can just keep it to your key performance metrics. Okay, just articulate them, but just do it and link it to the goal. Okay, we want to increase the awareness. We want to increase our fan engagement. You can also add a KPI for your engagement back. This is something that we rarely see anybody recommend, but I think would be super duper smart to build this in and then start tracking, your metrics on that. Like track your benchmark. Like say, okay, we're going to respond to every single person who shares, retweets, or comments on International Women's Day, March 8th. Right? And then see, what does that do? Does that boost engagement more? You could have, we're going to reply to at least half of all comments or a third of all comments. We're going to reply to everybody with at least a like or, a lipstick or clapping or whatever, an emoji. It's not that hard. And then to really see what effect does that have on the campaign itself and your overall brand awareness engagement. So that could actually be worth adding. So this is similar to what you don't have to have this many, you might have 1 or 2 more, but this would be what I'm looking for you to submit in week 8. And then I'll give you feedback on that, or you can talk about it, and then you'll have a nice chunk of it done. And again, you can do this directly on the wiki. It's here in the campaign and wiki resources. It's right here. You can go in and edit it. You can add it. Also, you can link your campaign if you want to actually work in real time and have me look at what you're working on. Okay, so I will be back in part 2 to talk about the photo contest.